Here. All right, traders, welcome to the third and final day of the Algo week. Been a fun week. Appreciate you guys being here for it and being a part of it. It's been fun. Hopefully you've enjoyed it as well. So we're going to go through some more today and cover the HFT Algo. We've also got a couple guest speakers that are coming in for us today as well, so that'll be fun. But let's go ahead and talk about what is the HFT Algo, what does it do, how does it work? So the first thing, yeah, we are recording, so absolutely we'll get that out to everybody. So the first thing that you need to know is it's trading with order flow. So we're going to talk about what order flow is a little bit as well and go over all the details. So before we get too far, of course, we need our disclaimer, can't guarantee results, and products and services are for educational purposes. All right. So first off, there's several signals built into this algo. And so we're going to cover what those are. We're going to look at settings and templates and optimizations and all that stuff as well. With this algo, we're also going to look at a hybrid approach to trading it as a semi-auto discretionary method of trading, which frankly works extremely well with this algo. Something that if you are struggling with entries or just looking for added confirmation on your trades, I really think that this is the ticket. I mean, it can really help. So anyway, so let's cover what it is, what it does, how does it work, and we'll go ahead and get started here. So first thing, let's cover some of the signals: trap trader and delta divergence. Let's go over what these are. So first off, so trap trader is going to be where we have an aggressive selling, and then the selling starts to taper off at the lows. And what happens is the aggressive sellers that kept selling at the lows, in essence, get trapped at the lows. And in that process, the buyers take over because the sellers, were running out of gas is kind of the best way I like to put it. Sellers are running out of gas and there's just no more room for them to get any lower. And so the buyers take over and price goes up. Okay, so that would be trap trader. We'll look at a couple examples of it as we go as well. But you can see here, so here's what's going on here. And you could see that, these orders are getting exhausted here at the lows. And so think of it as exhaustion is really what it is. It's kind of the best way to look at it. Delta divergence is going to be where price makes a lower low on the bar, as we can see here, and then closes up with positive net delta. That's really what it is. That's what delta divergence is doing. So lower low in price on a bullish candle with positive net delta. Okay. So what net delta is, let's kind of pause there for a second because I realize some of you may not have studied order flow yet, and that's totally fine. We'll cover it. So order flow, net delta, think of it as sellers versus buyers. This is the simplest way to put it. Sellers versus buyers. If the sellers exceed the buyers, then you would have negative net delta. If there's more sellers, okay? This is the simplified version. If you have more buyers, then this would be positive net delta, okay? So if we look at the net delta, we could see that on each bar, we could see the net delta. So this is the relationship between buyers and sellers. In other words, who won the tug of war? In this case, sellers won. In this case, sellers won. In this case, buyers won. Buyers, buyers, buyers. What is interesting, too, is when you have positive net delta on a negative bar. That's something that is very important, something that you want to pay attention to as well. And lucky for you, we've built a signal around that, too. So, but yeah, so here's a couple of the signals. And so this will fire off orders based on if you get a delta divergence signal, there's the order at the bar close, and trap trader, there's a signal, there's a bar close, there's the order. So these are all bar close entries. Okay, you wouldn't want to trade these on a intrabar basis, but they're bar close and they will work. Then we get to stacked imbalances. So we'll talk about what that is, but stacked imbalances are going to be an intrabar signal traditionally. Now you can trade it as a bar close, meaning the bar would actually have to close before it entered the trade. Well, what if you've got aggressive orders coming in the middle of the bar and the bar hasn't closed yet? You may want to enter that. And the software is built to do that. That you can get a signal intra-bar and enter the trade, which is really slick. It's really one of the only of its kind that can do that. So very cool. So stacked imbalances. So what other? Excuse me 1 second. So stacked imbalances are, think of it this way. You've got, to kind of highlight order flow a little better, up here, you've got sellers, right? Down here, you've got buyers. The assumption is, and it's usually an accurate assumption, is that you'd have more sellers here and you'd have more buyers here, right? Because price is cheap. Let me change colors. You might be able to see it better. There we go. Price is cheap down here. So, of course, people want to buy. Price is expensive here. So, of course, sellers want to sell there. Makes sense. Same thing if you went to a car dealership. The dealer's price is here. Your price is down here. Somewhere in the middle is where the deal is going to take place. It's usually not down here. It's usually not up here. It's usually somewhere in the middle, right? Well, that's the same thing that's happening in the market every second of every day. Excuse me 1 second. So that's what's happening in the market. You've got sellers that are layered in here. They're trying to offload their inventory or their supply. Down here, you've got buyers looking to buy cheap with demand. So when price, how does price move, right? So we talked about there's the sellers here and the buyers here, and somewhere in the middle is where the deal is going to happen. Well, somebody has to budge on price. In order for there to be a transaction, somebody's got to budge in the middle. The question is, where does the deal take place? Who's budging and who, from the market standpoint, you want to look at who's moving and who isn't. Because at any point in time, you've got a bid and you've got an ask. So, and then somewhere in the middle is where price is ultimately hanging out. So how do you know if the price is going to go up or going to go down? Well, the price is only the most recent transaction. It's just a show of the recent transaction. The question is, who budged on the price? Did the buyers go to the asking price, or did the sellers come down to the bid? That's the question. So in order for price to move, one of those two things has to happen. Otherwise, price ain't going to move. It's going to stay in the same spot. So buyers either have to say, okay, I'll pay the asking price, or the sellers have to say, okay, I'll sell it to you at a discount. One of those two things has to happen. Does this make sense? Are you guys tracking with me? So this is what's happening in the market. So when the buyers go up to the ask to do business, this is considered aggressive buying, right? Because buyers are getting aggressive. They're paying the asking price. What does that tell you? That tells you that the demand exceeds supply. And what happens when demand exceeds supply? Price goes up. When the sellers say, okay, we're going to come down to your price, down to the bid, this would be considered aggressive selling. And in this case, what happened? The supply was greater than the demand because the buyers were holding still, saying, nope, you're still too expensive. Come down and we'll do business. So the seller said, okay, we'll come down. So that is aggressive selling. That is to say that the supply exceeds the demand. In order to offload the supply, they have to come down on price. Funny thing, it's exactly how the markets work in any market. Doesn't matter if you're in trading or not. The same is true for anything. You can look at the housing market, you look at oil, you could look at any of the major commodities. That's how they all trade. Okay. So that's a quick lesson on order flow and how it works. So when you have buyers aggressively going to the asking price, this will show here. What? Yeah. So this will tell us when the buyers are going to the asking price. And that is ultimately where these numbers come from, by the way. This is to say that 110, now cumulatively over that price, but that is to say that 110 buyers went to the asking price to do business. That's what that means. 116 contracts, 280 contracts, where the buyers went to the selling price, to the ask. And when they stack up like this, 3 layers deep, that's where we get what we call a stacked imbalance. Or you might hear it called aggression or imbalances, or there's a number of different things. Bid-ask imbalance. Okay. But that's what it is. So this is telling us that the buyers are getting aggressive at this price. Well, what happens? Price goes up. Because the buyers said, no, we want to buy. We want in. So the demand was greater than the supply, so price goes up. Now, obviously, this is an important signal that you'd want to know. Now, if it just happens once or twice, maybe that's not strong enough. Maybe you want to see 3 layers deep, which is, by the way, the go-to. Typically want to stay with 3 layers deep. Okay, so that's what the stacked imbalance signal is. It's when demand is getting aggressive and the buyers are going to the asking price. So that is an assumption that the price will go up. Okay. What about combined signals? Well, maybe you want to trade trap trader and delta divergence together. You can do that. You can make it so that it only trades when both of those signals are there. Here's an example of a totally different signal. There's kind of a lot to this, guys. That's why I wanted to keep this all in one day. I didn't want to have to throw like multiple things at you. We'll just stick with this one today. It's going to take us some time to get through. So there's another signal called the flush reversal, and I really like it. I like it a lot. So what this one is doing, it's similar to a delta divergence, but different. It's kind of like a reversal of the, it's an opposite of the delta divergence. So what we have here, still lower low in price, but we have negative net delta, but the bar closed up. So trap trader or delta divergence, before was where we had a lower low in price with positive net delta and a positive bar close. Well, obviously that seems to make sense if you have a positive bar close with positive net delta. But what if you have negative net delta, but price still goes up? How is that even possible? Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. What it's usually is happening is there's a surge of price action, transactions taking place on one end of the spectrum. It's usually some kind of a surge of orders coming in that cause the bar to close up. And so the idea here is that the sellers were aggressively selling into this low, but they kind of ran out of gas is really the way to look at it. So even though there was a negative net delta, there was enough buying pressure here to lift price. The assumption is that price will go up. And that's what the signal is telling us. Now, I would tell you, I love these signals. Love them. They are great. Great signals. Really glad that the team added this one. Okay, so this is a good one. These are bar close signals too, by the way. You wouldn't trade this intrabar because you'd probably get too many signals. But on the other end of the spectrum, we've got a higher high in price, we've got a bearish bar, and we have positive net delta. So how does the price go down on positive net delta? Well, obviously there has to be an exhaustion of buyers at the high. That exhaustion leads to the sellers to take over, push the price down. Cool. Then we have confluence signals, which is a whole different signal. But wait, there's more. Bear with me 1 second here, guys. Just want to do something just to make sure. Give me just a second. Okay, we're back. Thanks. Appreciate it. Okay, so long confluence. What does this mean? So this means, yeah, this is being recorded. Absolutely. We'll get it to you. No worries. Have a good one. So confluence. So what do we have here? Well, we have a number of different things that this menu or grid at the bottom is displaying for you. Let's start with volume is total number of contracts on the bar. You all understand that. That one's easy. Then we have bid ask percentage, delta percentage, cumulative delta, and delta. Okay, so delta, please excuse my horrible handwriting with a mouse. So delta is net delta. That's what we talked about, right? That is where we look at sellers versus buyers. It's kind of the simplest way I can put it without getting too complicated. Sellers versus buyers. That is net delta. And that's what everything is driven off of on this grid. So net delta is just delta on this, okay? Cumulative delta is the delta, the net delta cumulative. So in other words, you're adding multiple bars. So if we had negative 110, and then we had a positive 50, and then we had negative 160, what would that number turn out to be? If the cumulative net delta is set to 3 bars, then what's going to happen is it's going to take the summation of these 3 bars and figure out what that number is. So if you have negative 110 minus 160, that's negative 270 plus 50 is negative 220. That's just an example. So negative 220. So why would you want to pay attention to that? Well, what that's going to do is it's going to show you cumulatively over X number of bars, whether you're positive or negative on the orders. So when you're trading smaller bars, think of it this way, like if you're using a higher time frame chart, most traders are using, if they trade a 1 minute, they're looking at the 5 minute as a higher time frame. If you trade a 5 minute, you're looking at the 30 minute as a higher time frame. But it's the same concept here. All you're doing is you're looking at the cumulative net delta. Like if you're on a 1 minute bar and you set it to 5, well, you're looking at the net delta over the last, it's changing each minute, but this is just kind of an idea of a way to look at it is you're looking at 5 minutes worth of net delta. Now we're trading on range bars typically on order flow, but that's an idea there. So that is cumulative net delta. Then we get to percent net delta I want to cover next. So percent net delta means what is the net delta versus the volume? Okay, so on this bar, for example, we could see negative 349 versus 1623. Okay, so let's do the math on that. 349, 1623, 21.5. There's your percent net delta, 21.5. Makes sense, right? So that's what that one's doing. And then we have bid-ask percentage. This is the percent. If it's above 50, you'll see it post as a positive number. If it's below 50, you'll see it post as a negative number. Sorry, this one's kind of a little confusing. So if it's, so 50 is even. If it's positive above 50, it'll show positive. If it's negative below 50, rather than showing it like a smaller percentage, it's going to show like negative 60. And it'll highlight red. Bottom line is this. What you need to know as a trader, are we all red? Are we all green? Or are we a mixture? That's really what you need to know. It's good to know what this stuff is and what it does, but really it comes down to like green or red, because you're not going to be looking at these numbers in real time, nor would you ever want to try and calculate them all in real time. Hence the reason we built the tool, so that we don't have to calculate it in real time, because we don't have that kind of time when we're trading. It's impossible. So this is calculating all that for us. So what happens when we have positive percent net delta? We have positive cumulative net delta. Obviously, we have positive net delta. When all those things line up as buying or as a positive number, we get the light up of green. And we can see the state. State is telling us when they're all green, it's going to highlight green. When they're not all green, it's going to be blank. Green, blank. Green, 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 red. Well, how did this one turn red if we have cumulative net delta? Your cumulative net delta is just going to be the color that it is. But the state is going to be based on the other factors, the net delta, bid-ask percentage, and then the delta percentage. That's what that's based on. So what you want to look for as a trader is when it's all green, that's telling you we're probably moving up in price. So we built a signal around it so that when you're all green, coming off of a level that's not all green, you'll get a confluence signal. Obviously, if you get 2 to 3 of them in a row that are green, you're only going to get the first signal, not all of them. Okay. So that's what's going on that one. But wait, there's more. So then we have the absorption signal. Now, the absorption signal is not a trade signal. This will not trade for you. But what it will do is it'll show you when there is exhaustion and absorption in the market. So when you have all green and then you get negative net delta, the back of the chart will highlight for you. Now, if you're trading this as an algo, really not going to do anything for you. When you're trading this discretionally, it will absolutely do something for you. The way that we used to do this is we would wait for the absorption. As soon as we get the absorption, we'd load the algo and set it to fire off and go live. In the meantime, we would just leave the algo in an off position to where it's not trading. Cool. So that's what that's doing. And then we've got all red, and then we get nothing. Then we get positive net delta here. And in this case, the positive net delta needs to be strong enough. You could set a threshold for that number. Like here, you could see it's negative 4%, but it's still not green. Negative 2% is not green, negative or positive 2%. So this would be set to at least 4% or higher to light this up. And the settings are available to do that. So you have a 2-bar absorption and a 3-bar absorption. Both are relevant and valid. All right, so we talked about intrabar trades. So intrabar trades, what this is doing is as soon as you get a stacked imbalance on a bar, doesn't matter where it takes place, doesn't matter if the bar is closed or not, doesn't matter if it's bullish, bearish, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is you have aggression in the print. You have aggressive buying, buyers going to the asking price 3 layers deep, and that'll fire off a signal. And this will actually trade intrabar. So here's freezing the tape, where you can see you can set it to freeze the tape here if you want, to where you don't even see any more of the bid and ask and any of that that's going on above or below. Or you can set it to still see that if you want to still see it throughout the entire bar. That's up to you. But that's a unique feature that's not available in other tools. All right, so what does that look like? Freezing the tape. Well, we can see here, the bar didn't close till down here, but our order came in here. So if we waited for bar close, then we're not getting as good of an entry, because we wanted to enter as soon as we saw the aggression in print, because order flow is order flow. Order flow doesn't care if it's a 1 minute bar, if it's a range bar, or what the range of your bar is, when it opened, when it closed. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is, did you have aggression in the print? If the answer is yes, then we want to trade it. The idea of that is, let's say, for example, you're trading on a bar close. Well, by the time that bar closes, you don't have aggression in the print anymore. So you miss the opportunity. But when you have the ability to freeze the tape, what this is doing is, as soon as that appears on the bar, it's going to take the trade. So you don't wait for the bar to close, because then you have no idea that the aggression was ever even there. So this is something that if you're trading just based off, unless you're watching it like a hawk, and you can see that, oh, I got an imbalance here, I'm going to trade it now. There's no way. Like, this is seeing the signal and it's entering live real time immediately. There's no way you can out trade this from that standpoint. Yeah, it'd be incredibly difficult, especially on NQ. Like, if you try to do it on NQ, you'd be hurting. So this is one of the unique benefits of this tool. So here's an example. You're seeing the freezing of the tape. I think there's a couple examples in here. So we don't have to go through all that. We've already covered it. So what does HFT stand for? HFT stands for high frequency trading. Would that be a high frequency of trades? Yeah, sure would. That's a whole lot of trades right there happening in a short amount of time. So if you want to scalp it, you could scalp it. If you want to take quick trades, take quick trades. They're really small. And then talking about optimizations, which we're going to go through together. Yeah, I think that's all for that one. Let me see if there's anything else we need to cover on this. I think we're good to go. There is a couple other things I want to show, actually. Okay. So the power of Confluence. Well, we talked about these a little bit, right? So here's the actual breakdown of what they all are, which I would suggest even take a screenshot of this. This is, pretty useful information if you decide to trade with this one. So this gives you an example of what each of these are and how they work, which is pretty cool. And if you need a screenshot later, just let me know. I'll get it to you. So this is an example of some trading with the Confluence signal, trading with HFT, Confluence, and stacked imbalances, looks like on this one. More examples. We're just going to go in and look at it because really that's what is important. So there we go. Good so far? How many of you, your minds are mush already? Covered a lot of info in a short amount of time. You guys hanging in there? Everybody good? Cool. So let's take a quick couple minutes. I'm just going to grab a refill on the water, and then we'll be back in just a moment, and we'll go through some examples on how to use the tool. So I'll be right back. All right, so let's take a look at some ways that you can trade with this tool. Yeah, I think they should have them all today for us as far as the recordings. I've heard a couple of people saying that they hadn't gotten anything yet. I will look into it for sure. Okay, so here's an example of, if you're looking at the chart, let's just look at it and take a look at what it's doing here. So I've got it set to longs only. Bear with me here. There we go. Session is set to start at 9:31. Okay, so long only. So when you're trading this live, the idea is you have the option that if you want to use something like an EMA to give you guidance on direction of the market and that sort of thing, that's a great option. I think this is set to a 100 and 200. Might be 50, 100. I actually haven't looked in a while. Let's check. I was wrong on both. It's a 25.50. So if the fast average is above the slower average, then you're bullish. So you set it to go long only, and you get a great little trade right here. Now, the best position to trade is not when the market is extended. It's when the market comes back to the averages, comes back in a little bit, and then you get absorption off of the averages, and then you can just set the algo to fire to long, and this will give you a signal, and there's a trade right there. And this is the way that we were trading it in the trade room. So if we were in the right location and we got absorption coming off of the averages, and then we get a stacked imbalance signal, let's go. And then we would trade off of that. When they cross over, then you would switch it to shorts only. Let's refresh. Now we're going to see short signals only. Must have a lot of days. How many days do I have loaded here? Yeah, totally not necessary. I'm going to go down to 2. It'll make our lives simpler. Cool. Okay, so now we have shorts. Let me go back to where we were. Okay, so here's where we crossed over, right? Well, if you're trading in here, you might consider that to be overextended. So you wait until we come into this area, we get some absorption, you fire it off to go short, but there's no signals on that bar. So what do? You wait. Wait for the right opportunity. But at this point, we're switching back to longs. So then you fire it to go long. So that's one example of how you can use it to your advantage in the live markets. The other thing that we can do here is let's just look at some of the different signals, just get an idea for what they look like, and then we'll go through and look at some optimizations and stuff. So let's do this. Let's do trap traders. I'm going to turn off stacked imbalances. I'm going to turn on trap traders, minimum 3. Sure. Yes. Delta divergence on 3. Yeah. Confluence. You can turn those on too. Look back. 3 is fine. 4 is fine. Flush reversals. Sure. Why not? Ticks 1. Cool. So minimum combined signals. So with this, you can say, I want to have at least 2 out of the 4. And we're not trading intrabar anymore. We're trading bar close. And we'll set it to long and short so we can see all the signals. And let's just fire it off. Give it a second to, oh, I didn't engage it. Okay, ignore the, we don't need to worry about what the numbers look like. We're just getting an example. Now, one thing you need to know, there is an auto disarm mode, which we'll talk about here shortly. But there's also an arm and disarm button here. We did this specifically so that we could trade this on a discretional basis without having to turn the signal off. So what this is doing is that we will see the signals, but it won't trade them when it's disarmed. So like if we're at the right edge of the market and we get a signal, it's still going to show us that signal, but it's not going to enter the trade, which is super cool if you're trading live and you just want to be able to go, okay, I'm ready to go, click the button, I'm armed, and I'm ready to trade. And then what'll happen is as soon as your trade is done, it'll automatically disarm the algo so that you don't continuously keep entering trades. Where this is an advantage is when you're trading the stacked imbalances, you'll get like signal after signal after signal, and you may not want to be trading all of those. You might want to just trade one at a time, So that was a huge win for us when we were able to implement that into the signals and into the system. It's very cool. So very, very cool. Oh, and look at that. Ashley's already got a link for us for the replays. So we're good to go. So if your chart does not have the armed or disarm option, then you're probably set it as an algo, where you won't see that. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a bit. We'll look at it that way too. You have to set it to auto disarm to be able to see that. Yeah, so we'll look at it. So here's the signals, right? So we've got Confluence, Trap Trader, and Delta Divergence. It doesn't work, but it's all a matter of what's your context of the market, where you're looking to trade. Are you overextended? We're coming into a lower high retest. Do we really want to trade into a lower high retest? Probably not. Anyway, we're just here to look at signals. So let's go back a little bit and let's check them out. So we have Confluence and Delta Divergence. We have Trap Trader and Delta Divergence. We have Trap Trader and Flush Reversal. Confluence, Trap Trader, Flush Reversal. Here's one of the biggest things that we can share on this, right? Is it a reversal or is it a continuation? That's one thing that you want to know. And this is just trading in general. Is it a reversal or is it a continuation? If it's a continuation, you want to trade with structure. If you're trading a reversal, you're trading against structure. How do we know what the structure of the market is? If we broke through the highs, structure's up. If we break a low, structure is down. Broke a high, structure's up. We already broke it there. Broke the low, structure's down. Okay. It's not what this is about, but anyway. So if you are up here, the question as a trader is, are you trading continuations or are you trading reversals? And why? You need to know that because this is going to tell you, do you want to go short on a Trap Trader Flush Reversal? Or do you want to go long on a Confluence Trap Trader? Like right here, these look like better opportunities because you're trading with the trend. Now, if I zoom in here, I'll show you something. We have absorption kicking in here. I don't know why it's not back painting, but that's okay. We have absorption kicking in. So in this case, you may not even want to trade these because, you might be afraid that, okay, we're getting into absorption. What that means is that the buyers are getting exhausted. They're no longer willing to go to that price. So the sellers have to come down to do business. Here again, do you want to trade against structure on a continuation basis? How do we know it's a continuation? With the trend is up because of the EMAs, but we're going against structure because we just broke the lows. So I'm just giving you ideas on how you can use it together. EMAs hadn't crossed yet. So do you want to trade a continuation going short? I don't know. That's up to you to decide. But anyway, here's what the signals look like together. Every one of these is requiring at least two. So the idea that is, you know, if you have two signals, are better than one. Are three signals better than two? I don't know. Try it out and see. There's so many different things that you can do with this. By the way, this down here is just a volume. It's just a volume indicator. And then I have an average on the volume. So that's what we got going on here. Let's go back in here, and I'm going to go through the settings. I'm not armed, so I don't know why I have signals on the chart, but whatever. Okay, so now so there is a setting right here. You see this auto disarm. So I'm going to turn this off now. Think of it this way. Auto disarm is used for discretionary trading an algo. In other words, you're going to turn it on and off based on where you're at on your chart. If you turn it off, you're trading it as an algo. So now you have to put in what time you're going to trade it. So let's go here. Let's go enable. Let's go okay. Cool. So now we don't have the enable and disable arm disarm button because we're not trading it discretionally. So if you're trading it as an algo, then you just turn it on and off. So you would just go long, and short. Yep. Cool. Yeah, you're welcome. So in this case, this is pure algo trading. And you could see the start and stop time. As soon as that's done, it stops trading. So that is an idea of what it looks like, how it works. Let's go through some settings. Let's figure out some settings. By the way, it took me forever to figure out how to download data on MES and couldn't get the updated settings. So we're going to have to do it together. Sorry. It's just a ninja for you. Actually, not Ninja's fault this time. It was actually Kinetic's fault. All right, so let's take a look and get some settings together. So we're going to go to HFT. We're going to look at it on MES first. I'm going to load an old template from July. Okay. And we're going to go to MES. This is back in July, HFT, cool. We'll just make sure we're good to go. All right, let's run it. Now, the beauty of this is I've already got all of the parameters that you'd want to look to, you know, optimize and the ones that you don't want to optimize. I've got that all figured out for you on this setting. Now, we'll maybe make some more and we'll have to figure that out. But for this one, what this is doing is it's trading Confluence signals only. It's only trading Confluence signals. So let's go in and check it out and take a look at what it's doing. This is on MES. I'm going to change the background of this chart just so that we can see it a little better. There we go. I wonder. No, it's not going to let me. I'm going to try and change the outline of these bars because I hate the white outline, but we are stuck. Let's do this though. Properties. Let's turn off the grid lines. And we'll make this a little darker. Okay, perfect. So here we go. So let's go back in time. Rewind. Here's our market start and stop. So this particular setting is set to trade the market open on MES. Why would you want to trade the market open on MES? What's the most active time? When buyers are getting aggressive or sellers are getting aggressive, It's happening more often off the market open. This particular setting just happens to do pretty well on market open. So here's what we're looking at. So we've got a confluence signal. We've got a stepping moving average as one of our filters. So you do have the moving average filter. You do also have the structure filter. If you want to use that on here, you can. You can have it say, I only want to trade long when it's up structure, right? So here's a confluence signal. So let's take a look at it. This is a stepping moving average. We can see that in the white, right? There it is. If we are above the stepping average, we can trade long. If we're below, we can trade short. In this case, what we've got here is we've got negative net delta, and we get to all green. As soon as this candle gets to all green on the heat map, then it's going to fire off the order. Buy, sell. Now, these are pretty quick trades. This is a 10 range chart, so do the math on that. I think I've got it set to 12, 10. No. Yeah, 12. 12 tick target, 16 tick stop. There's another order fired off. There's another profit. And we go to the next day. It's only from 9:30 to 10 on this setting. We've got our confluence setting right off the open, below the average, sell. There we get another one, sell. Skip one. We've got another one right here that fired off, sell, made some money. We've got a long that triggered, oddly enough. And even more oddly enough, it worked. We've got one here, fired off, long, below the average, short. I don't know if you noticed something here. A lot of these are profitable. Let's keep going. Long. Okay, we got a long signal here off of this bar. Interesting. Yeah, that one didn't work. Next one, long. That one didn't work. Well, it worked. It just was a stop out. Okay, and then we had another one here. So that's what these settings are doing. So let's go to the modern day era. Let's look at the analysis first. Pretty decent equity curve, nothing too crazy. A little bit of a drawdown in there. Let's go here. Cool. So let's go to optimize. So what we're going to do is go to optimization. Looks like we're all good on everything carried over for us. Right. So what we're going to test here, I've got this little cheat sheet that I made, which I was kind of tracking this for a while. And I've got all the settings that we need to optimize right here. So as I build our, handy dandy spreadsheet, this will go in there. Okay. Cool. So let me do something else here real quick. Bear with me one second. Okie doke. All right. So let's go to optimize. So what we're looking at, we're going to optimize a few different things. We're going to go to cumulative delta look back. We're going to go 3 to 10 by ones. Then we're going to go to minimum delta is going to be 1 to 10. And then we're going to go to the stepping average. And we're going to go 5 to 15 by 1. Now, this is going to give us a good number of tests that we need to run. So it's going to take a little bit of time. So while this is cooking, we'll do something else. We'll put this in the oven and then give it 30 minutes at 425 and see what we can come up with here. So we're gonna go July 31. All right, cool. And let's run it. And hopefully this thing doesn't like blow up NinjaTrader like it did when I was running it earlier. We shall see. So we got 880 iterations. Going to take a little time. Just want to let this thing kind of catch its breath here, and then we'll start looking at some other stuff. Yeah, it's going to take a while. It'll probably take 20, 30 minutes. Yeah. So let it kick into gear first before I do anything else. Otherwise, the thing might start smoking. Okay. I think we are good to go now. So while this is going, why don't we call in on a guest speaker, shall we? And we're going to call in our first guest speaker. This would be a good time for us to do that, so we're not doing anything else. So, Pete, are you there? Are you with me, Pete?
Hey, I'm here with you.
Excellent. So, Pete is a trader in our community. Doesn't work for the company, any of that. He does help us do some beta testing on some stuff, but really, really great guy, good trader. Been with us a little while and has been trading the HFT Algo. Also helps with some of the testing and optimizations on some of the other algos for us. So for those of you trading algos, you can all give a warm thank you to Pete for helping us put those together. So Pete, tell me a little bit about your experience. You've been trading the HFT algo and you've been trading that discretionally. Is that right?
Yeah, discretionary. Normally, I'll run it alongside of a couple of other things. Like I'll put the volume profile on there, or I'll look at supply and demand zones, or any other areas of interest, and I'll use that in conjunction with the moving averages that you were showing earlier. Yeah,
Very cool. So you've been basically you'll kind of put some areas of interest on your chart, maybe like some volume profile levels or some supply and demand levels, that sort of thing.
right, right. So I'll put those on there just so I know where they are, and I use them just as ideas for trading. For example, if I want to enter a trade, but I see that price is kind of bouncing around the point of control for a volume area, I'll just wait
Mm-hmm.
because I know that's kind of a high bouncing area, and I don't
Yeah.
want to enter there because I'm likely going to get chopped out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of like right at the middle zone. You want to
Right, right, right.
sell expensive, buy cheap. Yeah, that makes sense. So cool. So what Pete's doing is he's using this as a semi-discretionary, and you're trading the stacked imbalances, are you?
Stacked imbalances, right?
Yeah.
I like to enter Intrabar and freeze the tape.
Cool.
That's just my personal preference. I
Yep.
like getting the entry a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Um, so that's the one I use, the stacked imbalance.
Very cool. Yeah. So, and that's a great way to trade it. I mean, as long as you know your bias direction for the market and you know your area of interest that you want to trade it, order flow is a great tool for confirmation, not to mention it's doing all the heavy lifting for you. So you just turn it on when it comes into your level and it triggers off the trade, right? What markets are you trading it on?
I use ES
Okay.
primarily, or the MES, just depending on the day.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I'll kind of set the algo up for the day based on what it looks like. If there's a lot of volume, then you can adjust your stop loss and take profits accordingly. If it's a low choppy day, then I'll drop those down a little bit just to make sure I can get in and out of there. I use it
Sure.
more short time frame, so
Yeah.
more scalping wise.
Yeah.
And I use multiple targets. So if I'll use maybe a 20 tick stop loss and then an
Uh-huh.
8 and 16 tick take profit, or an
Yeah.
8 and 12, or a 4 and 12, something like that, depending on the day.
Yeah. Very cool. And so you're just taking some quick moves. Are you leaving runners on or anything like that?
No, no, I take the moves, I get in, I get out, and then I'll do it again. So
Yeah.
the way I like to trade is if I trade as if I'm trading multiple accounts. So the best way for me is you're using 5 evals, 10 evals. and you're scalping for $100 at a time, $100 over 5 evals, now
Yeah,
you're at 500. If you have 10,
absolutely.
now you're at 1,000.
Yeah, no
So it,
joke.
it makes sense for me to go for the nice small moves and do it multiple times a day than to try to get them those long giant moves, which for me personally, I tend to miss out a lot on. So I like to take the small ones because I hit those pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, especially if you're using order flow. Order flow is pretty short-lived, huh? I mean, it's
Right, right.
it's pretty a pretty small measurement in terms of what's happening in the market, and we can use other tools to identify the bigger picture of order flow. Things like, even like a VWAP, or
Mm-hmm.
volume profiles and things like that. So that makes a lot of sense. What's been kind of your? Oh, hold on, Ninja Trader's freaking out on me. I, I'm doing too much.
Too
It's saying,
much.
stop it. Stop it. All right. I think we're good. Um, so what kind of success have you had with it? Tell us a little bit about your results with it. What has it been like for you? And, kind of where have you been in the journey as a trader?
Um, Pretty good. They're pretty consistent, especially when you keep your targets reasonable. You
Hmm.
keep what you're looking for reasonable. Don't try to swing for the fences
Sure.
on an HFT or on order flow. Um, I started with 5 evals.
Hmm.
I'm just about to hit all 5 evals pass.
Nice.
And I take it slow. I take it a day at a time. I
Yep.
look at the market, see what it's doing. If it gives it me something, then I'll take it. If it doesn't look right, then I won't. You got to be patient with it. You got to trade it the way it's meant to be traded.
Hmm.
The best way that I say is if you use the moving averages, like we were explaining earlier. I get the best trades when you have the moving average crossover and
Yep.
then you pull back
Yeah.
into the moving averages. That's when I'll turn it on
Yeah.
because
And
once you pull back, it usually rips right from there. Almost
right.
almost every time.
Yeah. And what kind of time frame are you on? What chart are you using?
I usually use the volume charts. I think it's a 10 range bar.
Sure.
Um, so it works out pretty well. But
Yeah.
I'll change those depending on what my back tests are looking like. And again, I do
Sure.
trade discretionally, but I like to know what the best template to use is, even though I'm turning it on and off.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, take profits will change, stop losses will change depending on what the market looks like. If you're sideways, you got to shorten those up a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, take a quicker profit target. Yeah.
Right, right. Yep.
And maybe stick with the the full size contracts so you don't get whacked on commissions.
That's what I do,
Smaller.
right? Because
Yeah.
you take a many trades, so you go. I used to start out. I used to do 10 MES and kind of see how that was working, but the
Yeah.
commissions were beating me up. So I switched to
Hmm.
one full size, and then I switched to two, and then I was taking shorter hits with that, but
Yeah.
getting better profits because now using full size contracts.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I think ES is great if you can manage it, if you can afford it with your evals or your funded accounts, and I think that's definitely the way to go because commissions will eat you alive on MES if you're not careful.
Yeah,
Um,
especially with high frequency trading. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So with that pullback, when it's coming into the averages, is that kind of lining up with additional, areas that you're interested in? Say, like we talked about, order blocks or supply demand zones, that sort of thing. Are you kind
Yes,
of lining up multiple factors?
at times it will.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't, but I don't need confirmation if it's pulling back into the moving averages because that by itself is a confirmation. The
Sure.
moving averages are. If it's in an area where there is additional confirmation, that's even better.
Yeah.
But it's not necessary.
Yeah.
I just use that way just to see what's on the chart and where things are going. And you can also look at higher time frames to kind of see where the direction of the day is going. I try to make sure that if the day looks like it's an up day, I'm only going
Hmm.
to trade up. If it's down, I'm only going to trade down, and I'll wait for that to happen before I do anything.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense, and I think there's a lot of merit to what you're doing. And I mean, it'd be something that I would say, yeah, you've got a good plan about what you're doing. You've got it all figured out. So we'll give the stamp of approval from the instructor's lab, and we'll say that sounds awesome. I think you got a good thing going there. And one thing that I can encourage all the traders with is when you find something that works, just hang on for dear life, and don't change anything. Because what happens is we get shiny object syndrome and we just kind of look around and we go, oh, there's another thing. Oh, this can make it better. Oh, I want to do this. And what happens is you lose hold of that profitability that you worked so hard to get to. So hang on for dear life if you do find something that works for you. And so, it doesn't matter what that is. As long as it makes you money, who cares? Really at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters. So good stuff, Pete. Thanks so much for hanging out with us and sharing your experience. We appreciate it. Let's give him a round of applause and appreciate him taking his time to be here with us and share that. That's good stuff.
Yep, no problem at all. You got it.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, cool. So this thing's still running. Excuse me. Still having to clear my throat here and there with this, but I am getting better. We're on the mend. It's good deal. So I'm going to try to bring this up while this is doing its thing. Very, very cautiously, I'm going to go through this with you. So this is an added bonus that I'm going to throw in on top of that. Which what we can do too is even, what I'll do is I'll kind of add that to our cheat sheet. Let me write this down. We're going to do the HFT stacked imbalances at AOI's scalp. So we'll put some info together for you guys on that. Maybe some set of rules that you might want to follow if you're looking to get involved in trading that too, because we're all about sharing as a community, and we're better together as a team, right? So let's take a look at this. So what the heck is going on here? So this is a crude chart. I love trading order flow on crude. It's like one of my favorite things to do. So order flow on crude is great. So what we have here is we have the flush reversal and the confluence signals turned on here. We also have print profiler on this chart. Any of you familiar with print profiler? Some of you probably use it. Some of you have it, especially if you are in the prop program before we swapped over. So print profiler is an order flow tool as well. What I'm using it for here, I can turn off these zones. Hang on. Let me do something here. There we go. So we have these sort of pink and light green column flags on either side of this candle here. What this is doing is it's showing when the bids are higher than the bids on other bars, it'll light up for us with the buying aggression will be green and selling aggression is red, obviously. When we have aggressive buying and selling at the same location, what that's telling us is that the market is absorbing those orders at that level. When you're coming in off of an uptrend and you're starting to see big money stepping in, we call it big money signals. When you see that start to step in on either side of the candle, and then you get a flush reversal on the next candle, that's a pretty good sign that it's time to sell. Because what's happening here is you've got buying aggression, which comes into absorption, which then turns to exhaustion, and then the market pivots. And this provides a killer opportunity to trade. Really a great opportunity, which you could even, set it so that when you get the flush reversal, you fire it off to do stacked imbalances as an added layer. I mean, you could go to town with it, but the way that this is set up is that as soon as you've got big money on both sides, you've got a flush reversal signal and it would go long. Now, this one would have been a stop out, which happens, obviously. This one had big money on both sides, but didn't give a confluence signal. Here we are, we're coming down to big money, but we didn't get a signal. This one, we have big money on both sides, and then we have a signal right here. on a confluence signal. So we can see that our net delta was red, red, and then we went all green. The other thing we can see is we've got an absorption signal with this back painting right here. So this is telling us that we went from all red to all green because we have absorption, which was all red to positive net delta, and we got a confluence signal, and we had big money coming into that level, and that big money failed. More importantly, all of the money went to the buy side. So that is kind of the story behind what's happening here. Excuse me. And then there's the order. So this is a great way to trade discretionally with this tool, should you want to, which we can turn off these other signals. Bear with me. And then let's turn off trap traders. Okay. Yeah, way cleaner. Jeez. This one had absorption, had big money on both sides, but we never got a signal on confluence or flush reversal. And then, of course, what happens at 10:30 on Wednesdays? All hell breaks loose on crude because of the inventory reports. So don't you dare trade it because you will lose. Perfect example. Big money, flush reversal, everything looks good. Welcome to your stop out. It happens again. Great, it worked. Who cares? Don't trade it. Wednesdays after 10:30 are nuts on order flow. Let's go to the previous day. Okay, here we go. So really you want to start looking at trading this at or after 9 o'clock, like 9:05, because that's when the pit opens on crude. So here we have, and we can see in the orders too, what we're looking for is aggression into absorption, into exhaustion at the highs, big money on both sides. We've got the absorption signal, but we didn't get a confluence or a flush reversal on this bar. So that would not have been a trade. You got it on the next bar, but it's too late by that point. Order flow is fast and dirty. That's what it's all about. Just get in, get out, take the money, run. Don't expect too much. Here's another one. Came up, absorption, but no signal. Another one came down, but we're kind of squeezing. We're kind of chopping sideways. So no chopping wood out there. Coming up here, again, nothing. Coming up. Now we're back down. And we came into a confluence signal, but we did not have big money on both sides except for right here. So when you know that you have big money here, you probably don't want to have to trade into that. So you would not take that trade. Here's one. Came up, big money on both sides, tons of absorption, confluence signal. You went from all red to all green. So you've got your absorption. You would actually sell here, not buy. It has a buy order from the previous candle, but the order would be right here on a sell order. Okay, and there's your 1-to-1. You're looking for, 12 ticks on a stop sort of thing, and you're looking for 8 to 12 on the target. Ideally, if you can get 10 ticks out of it, you're great. This one did not have big money on both sides. Big money both sides, and you have a flush reversal, and so that would be the order right here. Set it to 12 ticks right there, and it's giving you a full 1-to-1. And you're not looking for anything more on order flow. Just take the 1-to-1, count your blessings, and call it a day. Anytime you're seeing double bottoms, that sort of thing, stay away from those. What you're looking for is you're trading this as a reversal. By the way, these blue lines are the Donchian's channel or price channel. It's set to a five bar high and low. So when you're at the low of the 5 bars, then you look to go long. If you're at the high of the 5 bars, you look to go short. So that's why that's there. But yeah, that's just, I wanted to share this as an added bonus to what we're doing. We've got time. This is meant to be deep dive. if you decide to use this, use it on crude oil, 10 tick range chart. If you have Print Profiler, use it with it. If you don't, let me know and I'll get you a coupon code. You can buy it and add it to your arsenal. The only thing I use it for is for the big money, to show me where the big money is at. That's it. And I also do like to see the volumetric bar to where I can see where the volume is on either side. It is a nice feature to have that. I like to see it, but it's not necessary. You don't have to have that on. It just might make it a little more noisy from your point of view. So cool. So some added benefit there. So we're still waiting on this guy. It's almost done. Couple minutes left. Why don't we use this opportunity to take a 5-minute breather? We're about an hour and a half left to go here. So about halfway through. Let's take a 5-minute break. And then when we come back, we'll check out these results and look at projecting them forward and see what we come up with. So we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Okay, so let's take a look at what our numbers came in at. So we've got about a 2-point profit factor here. Number of trades is pretty steady across the board. Most profit here, oops, it's going to be this top one. So let's go with this. So we're going to save this now. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Minimum delta set to 3. And then our stepping average is set to 11. Cool. We're going to save this one as Confluence, and we'll save this as 825. All right, so now we go to back test. And we're going to see what happened. It did not save, did it? Yeah, minimum imbalance is 1. Minimum delta. Where'd it go? Oh, yeah, 3. So let's do this. 825. These all match up. 3, 3. Oh, this was 10. Sorry, cumulative delta look back 10. Yeah, okay. Well, saved. All right. Now let's go to back test. Now that we know what we're doing. 10, 3, and 11 on the step. Cool. So now what does that look like for the following week? Well, let's see. Yeah. Okay. So now we run the back test. So this is the idea of this particular setting, right? You just go through, you optimize, and then you run it for the following week, and that's what you get. You got a break-even week. Okay, well, is it the end of the world? No. You do the same thing, you optimize it again, and you run it the next week. So this one is good to go for you, and all set. And so what we'll do is let's go ahead and save this as the optimization as well. So I'm going to go here and load this one, and let's put in our parameters again. What did we run? This was a 3 to 10. 3 to 10, minimum delta is 1 to 10. And then our stepping average is going to be 5 to 15. Cool. And then we're going to save this as MES. We'll call this HFT so we know what it is. MES 10 full range bar. We're trading the Confluence signal. And then this is going to be good from optimize. Call that our optimization template and save it. So now, whenever we pull that up, we just got to change the dates. So I'll get that to you guys as well. Good stuff. Cool. We can go in and look at some of the trades too, just for the fun of it. We had a win. Tried to get long again, stopped out. Tried to get long again at the same level, got stopped out. Long again at the same level. And that one worked, and that one worked, and that one worked. Stop, stop, go, go, go. Anyway, so this is all set. Anything else that you guys want to check this out on? I kind of was thinking it might be cool to check it out on like, maybe if we did like a multiple signal stack with structure, with market momentum on a specific market. Might be good to optimize something for that. What do you guys think? Anything that you guys want to take a look at and optimize together? We've got some time. We can go through that together. I knew somebody was going to say NQ, and I was just about to be like, "Don't say NQ." Okay, any hands? I see any hands here? Anybody? No, we'll do NQ. That's fine. CL is probably a better choice. NQ has a lot of ticks. Doesn't mean it won't work, but there's a way that you have to get this set for NQ. CL and NQ. Okay, so let's go to NQ, just because we don't have anything for that one. So let's give it a go. All right, so first thing that we're going to do, think of it like we're a bunch of mad scientists in the lab. We have a hypothesis. We have no idea if this hypothesis is even remotely a good idea. We just kind of go, I think maybe this, let's give it a go. This is where we're at here. So let's go to MNQ. Micros, NQ. We'll keep the time frame. That's fine. We'll go with that. We're not going to use a full range 10. Let's start it at 40 and see what it looks like. And then we're going to go up to the top. So we'll go trap traders on. 3 is good. Let me do this so I can see it a little easier. High low, sure. Stacked imbalances off. Delta divergence, don't care. I want confluence. Look back. I'm going to start it off at 5 with a minimum percent of 5. Flush reversals on. Ticks per level. Massively important when you're trading on NQ. Think about it this way. For every 1 tick on ES, you're getting at least 4 on NQ. So whereas with NQ, we're looking at 1 tick, or I mean, with ES, we're looking at like 1 tick at a time. NQ, we're looking at points, which is 4 ticks, right? So we're going to set this to 4 ticks per level. That'll make our lives easier. We're going to keep it set to bar close. Let's 10. That's fine. Don't worry about that. Oops. We'll do the same thing off the open. Not going to require. Well, actually, yeah, let's require an average. Let's do an EMA, 1 minute, 15. No, let's go 25. 25. We want to require market structure. Set that to 5, include the wicks. Yes, cool. We're going to do this one. Histogram on. Okay. Cool. Give it a second to do its thing. There we go. All right, so let's just go check out the chart. No idea what to expect. This is hypothesis, right? So just by looking at it, I can tell the stop is way too tight. A lot of signals coming in too. That was what I wanted to do. I wanted to set minimum combined signals to 3. That way we're only getting the best of the best. Let's try it that way. What happened here?
How many signals do you have turned on?
3. That's probably why. Yeah, that's not going to work because 2 of them are contradictory.
Yeah, so nothing meets the requirement.
Yeah. That's why we're not getting anything. Yeah, we'll have to set it to 2. All right, so let's try 2 combined signals. And we'll run that one. Go. All right, let's go check this one out. Yeah, this doesn't look very good at all. Let's go bigger on the time frame. Let's bump this up to 50. And I can tell you already we need a bigger stop loss. I'm going to set this risk reward. That way if I change my stop, it changes the target. I don't have to do both. Let's do a 0.8 target. Yeah, a little bit better. That looks pretty good. Let's keep going back. No trades. No trades. All right, let's expand the time now so that we're not just stuck trading only the open. Start 8 to noon. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. So we got 51 trades. It's not a lot for a sample size. You really want to get, more trades in. I also was noticing that the moving average was pretty slow. So I'm going to speed this up to a 12 and see what that looks like. Yeah, you can definitely view this later. Yeah, we're recording. Let me just make sure recording's on. Yeah. Let's also set a tighter swing structure because the swing structure was pretty loose. So we'll tighten that up so we get more trades there. Let's go down to swing. Let's set it to a 3. The idea is, ideally as a starting point when you're putting your templates together, and this is something that I noticed as I was kind of going through some of the other ones we were working on in previous days, is you really want to have at least 100 trades. Otherwise, there's not a lot of data, to show that it's a valid template. So here, 32 trades, not a whole lot. It's a fair question, Barry. Fair question. That's not what I want to see. I want to see the chart. Okay, I just want to make sure I had all the data as well, which we're good there. So there's up. All right, so let's check out some of this. Yeah, I'm curious about the time-based chart or a volume chart or something like that. Order flow, though, I've always seen order flow work best on range bars, but who knows? Sometimes to get a good setting, you got to break the rules. So Confluence and Trap Trader, Confluence. I'm just trying to look at what the signals are. Flush reversal, trap, Confluence and Trap Trader. Okay, let's do this. We're going to turn off Trap Trader. We're going to turn off flush reversals. Well, we'll leave that on, but we're only going to require one. So we're either going to look at confluence signals or flush reversals. Let's try it that way and see what that looks like. Good number of trades, horrible profit. Let's go to 1-to-1 just to see. This is a brand new template. Yeah, we already have templates that are good to go. We're just looking at different ideas on different templates that could be used. The algo itself is good to go. It's just the settings we're doing from scratch. Yeah, just not good settings to start with. Let's go to let's just try it on different bar types. And this will tell us if we even have anything that's worth even messing with, you know. Yeah, NQ is tough for order flow. It's really nuts for the faint of heart. Like order flow, you really want to stick with, you know, something like an ES or even an RTY. I've traded order flow on RTY and done pretty well. Crude has been my favorite. It's been the most consistent. Let's go to a volume. Volume to the rescue. The thing of it is, you know, we're getting the ones that are happening right away seem to be good. It's when they start getting overextended, you're getting stuck on those. Let's go a little further back. Look at this day. Yeah, see, that one works, that one didn't. Just looking at the settings here for a second. Bear with me. Curiosity's sake.
Jim,
Yep.
just a thought. You open that trade window at like 4 hours, right? You might
Yeah.
you might look at profitability by half-hour segment. Maybe there's a lot
Yeah.
of the losses are coming from certain part of that 4 hour window.
Yep. Yep. Good call. Good call. Yeah, it's getting still about 50-50. Let's go to analysis. Half hour a day. Yeah, there we go.
Go to
10
entry time.
o'clock.
Entry time.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks. Yeah, 10 o'clock and after. So let's narrow it 10 to 11. Well, let's go 10 to noon. Just for fun, we can go 11:59.
That'll improve it. Just don't know how much.
Yeah. Getting somewhere. 1.3. Decent. Let's go to the chart. Is there a way in here, Jeff, to block trades that are above certain levels on the VML? To like where it stops trading after you get to, let's say, the second level or something?
Yeah, so that's the what do you call it? It's the
Is that this guy here?
yeah, block level.
Okay.
So excursion 1, 2, and 3. You can put a 0, 1, 2, or 3 there. So
Perfect.
you put 0, it doesn't do it, but 2 means if you're at the second excursion, it'll stop trading.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's, but then again, it's, this order's coming in and it's like it's coming in off a divergence.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one you can optimize it, but
yeah,
it's hit or miss.
You can't do trades per direction on this one, can you? On the HFT?
I
don't think we have that built into this one. I didn't see it.
Not yet. Not yet. Okay. It's coming.
Is it? Oh, okay, cool.
It's all about the core engine updates. So some of the newer algos, we have some of those extra features, and as we can, we try to upgrade the previous algos. It just takes time.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to have it set to where it only took the first trade, because the first trade seems to be working on this side of the average, on this side of the average. Come down, this one didn't work, but that could be an interesting thing to look at.
Yeah.
But this is, it's a starting point. We could go through and optimize and do that at this point. You want to see that whatever you're starting with as a starting point is at least somewhat profitable before you start optimizing, because otherwise you just go down this rabbit hole for nothing. And you spend all this time working on settings that just weren't ever meant to be something that was traded on this particular algo. So, but this is a good starting point. So let's save this as a starting point. Excuse me. Interesting. I already had it. Miscellaneous filters. Carter to the rescue. I didn't see it. Good for you. Reset consecutive trades on, I'm assuming that's on the day close, on session close. Yeah. Jeez. All right.
My bad.
No, my bad.
I was thinking another one.
Yep. I wondered about that. I was like, I wonder if this one has it. There's so many algos, and we've been doing this, looking at 20 different algos this week. It's not like we would remember everything. Now we're talking. Now we're getting somewhere. Yeah, that's more better. Let's see what it looks like current time frame. We're going to fast forward here a little bit and just get an idea. Obviously, if it looks good on the more recent stuff, then we would look to optimize it based on this. Yep, went up a little bit of a drawdown there. Let's see what we're looking at. About breaking even. Let's look at the recent trades and see what's going on. Good, good. Interesting. Let's go back a little bit more. No trades that day. I think the Confluence needs to be stronger. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to 5 and 5. And I'm going to tighten up the levels as well and go 5 levels deep. I got 60 trades. Let's go back a little further and see what that looks like. That noise you heard is one of my alerts firing off in Ninja. So those of you that are in the Gap program, take a look at the chart, see if you got anything. I don't want to spend a ton of time doing this today because we've already kind of seen throughout the week how to do optimizations, what sort of things you want to look at. We'll look at this as a potential for optimization as well. Yeah. 80 trades. Not bad for trying to figure out what's going on here. So let's save this as a starting point. And then if you guys want to go through and optimize it, this will be a good exercise on optimization. Certain things that you want to look to optimize are going to be the look back and the percent. You're going to want to go probably 1 to 10. And then, anywhere from 3 to 10, maybe here. Ticks per level. You could even optimize that on NQ. You're going to be at least 4. So maybe 4 to 8. Could optimize that. Stop loss target, you could do, 0.8 to 1 to 1. Stop loss, you could do, 1.5 to 2, something like that. start and stop time, you can look at optimizing it. I would do that last. And then trades in one direction, you could do 2 maybe if you're doing smaller trades. And then the EMA, you can optimize that. I would do this separately. I wouldn't do that together. Swing strength, you could optimize that. So there's a good number of things that you could look to optimize here. Gives you some ideas, things that you can run with. So this is a good starting point. So I'll get this to you guys. It could be a good exercise in optimization if you just want to get better at it and get a feel for how it's done. Come up with some profitable settings and then, excuse me, run it in sim the next week. And you can see what, excuse me, see what your numbers are. Okay, cool. So we got that one done. Yeah, that was a good exercise there. Good to have that done. I'm going to go back to something here. And I'm going to pull up a couple settings. Let's go here. And let's go here. Actually, let me do something. Okay, so let's go this template load optimize 910. Yeah. And this is going to be on MNQ.
I'm on the line too, Jim.
Yeah, I saw that. Hey, Dustin, how's it going?
Doing well, Jim.
Good, good, good. So what I want to show you next is the hybrid. Those of you that have kind of followed along in the Discords, you probably noticed there's a trader in there that's posting some really good results. There's a trader in there that's profitable. There's a trader in there that is scaling profit and getting payouts from their prop firm. And we have that very trader here with us today. So these are settings that were developed by this trader. And oh, by the way, he's a data scientist. So probably somebody that you want working on settings for you, because this is literally what he does. So just like a match made in heaven as far as giving this trader an algo and saying, here, make something good. And so it comes up with some really, really great settings. And so he has graciously agreed to share this with all of us. And so we've got some settings for you here. So this is one of them. I mean, you can see, at a max risk of 500 to make 10,000 at a almost 3-to-1 profit clip over the course of a month. Very strong settings. And I'll pull up some others that he's done for us in the past as well, just to give you an idea that the stuff this guy's coming up with is really solid. So let's pull up another one. Let me go to the right algo. But yeah, so why don't you share a little bit with us, Justin, if you're here, share a little bit on, kind of what's been your kind of game plan as really it comes down to optimization, right? Like that's where the success lies. And so why don't you share a little bit about your optimization process, kind of what you're looking for and how you go about it?
Yeah, so I kind of have like a weekly routine. I usually Sunday morning, it seems like the servers seem to work better to optimize everything. So usually Sunday morning without the feeds are on Intrabar. So usually like early Sunday for my family, wake up and before football, and I have to get my kids off to maybe church or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of try to optimize everything pretty early, and that's kind of like my routine has been on Sundays. I did take kind of like the month of August off. I was coaching kids, getting kids ready for football and stuff. So
nice.
Kind of had a break, and then I had vacation. So I started back up probably this last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Heading into September, and this is kind of I didn't really see it. So GC was my baby, and I just haven't. I started optimizing and just not really seeing what I saw back in spring and early summer. So I kind of found myself looking at MNQ, and I've been having great success today. I made 1,500 in all of my accounts.
Nice.
I'll show you guys here if you want to share the screen, and I can kind of show you like how the current algo is working, and like kind of I can kind of show you kind of what my thoughts are if you want to share the screen.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have the ability to do that? Yeah, no worries. Let me stop sharing, and then.
You cannot. Well, the other is sharing. That's what's giving me.
It's thinking about it. There it goes. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and see if you can share now. I'd be happy to take a look at it for sure.
All right. Can everybody see my optimizing screen?
Yeah, looks good.
So just real quick, what I'm going to show you real quick while I have my optimizing up. I did notice that the shorts are having a lot of success. Look at that profit factor.
Whoa,
so if you want to be a little more consistent, you can just come over to, and I've done this with gold and oil before, where I'm just noticing I'm having a success going one direction. So you can just, where is it? There's a place here where I can change it long and short. So then we can go short only, and then we can kind of run it.
Yeah.
That's an idea, and I've done this. I've done it with gold and oil before in the past. I am running both sides of the trade because I still have like about a 2.0 profit factor going long. So for me, I'm willing to take the risk still, but just an idea. If you have a fresh account, or you have a small cash account, maybe you just want to choose. In this sense, you might just want to do it, one direction. So that's as much. This is what it's lost, and I usually good. So it's not looking bad.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
An idea, and I think that's provided. I think I provided this to the team, Jim.
Yeah.
So that's just an idea. I can kind of show you what happened today.
Yeah.
The first trade out of the gate. So this is 118 tick stop loss. It met its threshold going long, so the stop loss moved up +6 ticks. We didn't get to our profit target, so the market went against us. So we gained I think it was like $30. I made $30 off this trade after commissions, maybe like $20. So then the second trade of the day, I think this was right at open.
Nice.
The market ripped up, and then I was able to hit all three. It literally hit the third one. This one I was literally getting into the gate of my job, hit the target, and then dropped, and then went on. And then I think this was I was inside of my work, and this took the third trade, and it went short, and got all the ticks. I think so. I'm roughly running 8. I'm running 8 target, 8 to profit 3. I'm running 2 to profit 2 and 1 to profit 1 is kind of what it is right now. And I kind of show. Sorry if I'm all over the place.
No, you're good.
But you can kind of see. So the quantity over here is like 1, 2, and 8. So if you don't need, so if anybody wants to play with this and they want to maybe try like a 1-1-4 or a 1-1-6, you can kind of so your losses aren't.
Yeah.
You're taking a little bit more risk off the table. That's just an idea. This was just kind of works for what I'm trying to do right now.
Yep.
So yeah, it's running from midnight Eastern till 10:45 Eastern in the morning. So
cool.
That's kind of what I'm doing. And you can usually there's a time, like usually around the open, it's doing really well. From what I can tell, I'm gonna go ahead and put it back to long and short because that's what I run.
And so lately, your NQ has kind of been your go-to. I know in the past you've traded crude and gold. Have those kind of fizzled out a little bit lately, or what have you seen on those?
I'm just not seeing. I guess I got a little spoiled with higher profit factors, so they haven't been fitting the billet for me, and so I went searching.
Yeah.
And I want to risk less and make more. I think that's how you stay in the game longer. So.
Definitely.
But yeah, I had a bad last week. I did have a bad Thursday, but then I had a really good Friday. This was real. That hurt. That day hurt. but I will say this is a little misleading on the summary page. So I'm running 3 profit targets. So it's saying I made, say, 177 trades. You got to divide that by 3 because I'm running 3 profit targets.
Yeah.
So this 90 is really like 60. And so this is like around 60 trades. So
yeah, makes sense.
Or like maybe somewhere around there. But
and it looks like, kind of looking at the settings, it looks like you're pretty much optimizing most everything. I mean, from the stop loss to the targets to the time to pretty much a little bit of everything, huh?
Yeah, I ran a back test on the times as well. I think I went from like 10 till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and this was the best time to stop trading. So I trade, and yeah, and like if you even notice the break-even target, the break-even trigger 47 is not quite to what I would like to see, but it just doesn't optimize well to the profit target. So I mean,
yeah,
that's what I run because it just tests better.
Yep.
And I was wondering with the dev team if there's a way I could add like a second break-even trigger, so I could maybe get to like profit 100, and then see if I can move that break-even to like 50 or 60. So they're running the 3 targets. I don't know if
right. The only way I know how to do it, and Jeff, you can chime in here as well down the line, but the only thing that I could suggest off the top of my head would be to do a trail trigger. So like, let's say your break-even trigger is 47 and you want to go to, net 50 ticks once you get to that target 2, let's say you get to 111, then you'd set your trail trigger to 111, and then your offset would be the difference between 111 and how many net ticks you want to get out of it. So like if you wanted to, net 50 ticks, then you would go, trail 61 at that point. The unfortunate side of that, if it's unfortunate, is that it will continue to trail though every time you make a new high water mark. Yeah. So, it's not a fixed stop sort of thing. I don't know if Jeff, you have any other insight on?
No, you're pretty much spot on there. I mean, we only have the 1 break even, so the only other thing you can do is with the trail, and like you said, it'll just continue trailing. So it's not really a second break even. That's what's in the engine now. I'll make a note of it as far as putting on the wish list, but really no kind of ETA on anything like that.
Yeah, they got a lot going on, but yeah, that's a good idea. I think. I know NinjaTrader, when you set up the ATM orders, it'll let you set, multiple break-even points. The other thing you could do, I mean, obviously you're probably not awake watching your algo at 2 a.m, but
no, not actually. So I know that kind of breaks the rules, but that's what I do. I mean,
no, but I mean, the only other alternative is moving them manually, which obviously is not ideal if you're in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So you could, and yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I usually, it's at midnight, but usually I think most of the trades I get are middle, like, right kind of when I'm waking up, usually is when I start getting trades.
Yeah.
When I'm typically seeing the trades come through.
Yep.
Justin, Justin, are you East Coast? What's your time zone?
I'm Central, but I have everything East Coast just because it's just easier in the trading community just to kind of keep it at Eastern.
Okay, so your times are Eastern. All right.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yep, everything's Eastern time. Yeah, and these are very specific bar types he's using too. This is on the Wicker. This is on the Wicker trade setup on the hybrid algo. The bar type he's using is really it's the 1 minute type bar range for the bar size, a 10x on the reversal, and then what are you doing on the offset, like a 0.8 or something like that?
17 tick off the.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what kind of was suggested when this algo was rolled out.
Yep. And those are really the best bar types to use. So if you're looking at other markets, guys, that's kind of the bar type you want to use for this Wicker algo. And so, yeah, so good stuff. What else? What other kind of insights or words of wisdom can you share?
So, like I said, I optimize, and I I would at least do a back test on every, like if you're getting some down days, it's gonna happen. But I mean, if you're starting to see a little bit of a change, I would definitely start looking to optimize, kind of seeing if the markets are rolling, different are changing. That's kind of like what sometimes my profit targets change dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my stop losses change. So sometimes it's as simple as just changing a few of your targets because maybe there's more volatility that's coming in the market. So maybe those stop losses need to grow and your profit targets need to grow.
Yeah.
And you give it more room, and then sometimes the markets start to shrink. So you're gonna have to shrink your maybe the average true range, maybe it shrinks. So you're gonna have to bring your profit targets down and your so it's just stuff that I kind of think that's happening, or kind of feel like you kind of get used to it. And just knowing the algo, I know what this algo does. I know, like, I kind of already know, okay, it's going to take a trade if it breaks, like, I think right here, I knew once this wick happened, and I knew when they went short, I could see it at work because I have trading view up, and I was like, that definitely was a trade,
Yeah.
Like, I was watching at work. I'm just not able to see it on my phone, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, you can always
kind of
get,
tell, like, okay.
If you don't have TeamViewer, you can always set that up on your computer. I know I set that up on mine, and you can, get TeamViewer on your phone, and you can check your computer anytime. So that's a good option there too. Kind of remote view. So yeah, but that's
that's the big one, is just that. And then, like, for me is just knowing drawdown and then giving yourself more than the buffer of the drawdown.
Sure.
So, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, well, this thing's showing a drawdown of $1,200, so then they scale up, and that's not a guarantee. You might get a drawdown of 18. So play it a little bit more conservative on the conservative side, and that's what I have to. Like, my buddy's not on the phone; he's working, but that's something he's young. He's still young to trading, so it's something I am, like, constantly hammering in his head. Is like, hey, buddy, you're getting a little extended. You're trading a little too many contracts.
Yeah. Slow is the mode, right?
I'm like, man, let's slow it down. Like, Kill's like, well, I just bought this $150,000 Apex thing, and then so he wants to go broke or go home, I guess. Go. Yeah. So that's something I'm reining him on, because I'm mentoring. I'm like, no, we can't do that. You're just wasting money if you we got to take it slow.
Yeah.
But that's something that I'm noticing. Like, he'll see the drawdown, so he thinks he can double down. And I'm like, no, let's not do that.
Yeah. Good stuff. I've answered some questions here from some of the traders here. So, as far as I know, he only trades the hybrid algo. And then the bar type is going to be it's the Renko bar. It's the BXT Renko, but it's set to those different numbers. Like MNQ is set to 20, 200, 17. So 20 is the bar, 200 is the reversal, 17 is the offset. So that is different. But yeah, really great tips. Today's event we planned as hybrid, but we were wrapping up here for the week, so we wanted to bring in some guest speakers to hang out with us today and share some wisdom. And look, these guys they're hitting it. They're using the algo as it's intended to be used, but they're coming at it from a trader's perspective on how to get the most out of the algo. And that's what we really wanted to show, because the only way to see how to get there is to follow in the footsteps of somebody who's done it before, been there, done that. So yeah, that was really important for us to bring in some traders. So this is great. Feel free to share anything else that you want to share as well, Justin. We got time.
Well, what else have I been working on? Like I said, kind of break down how I optimize this.
Yeah.
But usually I don't mess with the 1 or 200. I do want to kind of play with it maybe next week, maybe even the wicks.
Sure.
But I'm a little hesitant just because of the consistency of what I currently have. But I do hit on. It's typically what I'll do is I'll keep my profit targets that I have running, and I'll run a stop loss. And then I'll come back, and then and then I'll go to my profit targets, and then I'll optimize my profit targets, and then I'll come to my break even, and then I'll optimize my break evens, and then I'll go back to my profit targets and back to my stop loss, just see if those numbers change. And that's how usually I do it. And then it's not taking, you're doing like 120, like for instance, this is, where's the stop loss? And then even like the quantity I have to kind of play with a little bit too, but usually I'll leave that there. The profit target, for instance, like what I do though is I'll do like 50, and then I'll do 78, and I'll say, or 8, or I'll do 60 to 80 or something, and I'll do it by twos.
Sure.
And then that's kind of how, or I'll do it by ones if I can kind of hone in within like 10. Sometimes I'll do it by fives if I'm doing a bunch. Do it by fives, and then I'll hone, or 10, and then I'll hone it down to 5, and then down to like 1. So I'll do that as well. It's like this, like I think right here, I think I was doing like 135 to 175 by fives,
mm-hmm.
and then, or by twos, and then, so basically you don't get as many iterations, and it speeds up the process.
Definitely.
So it's just, I don't go in there and I optimize and it's one time. It's like 10. I might take like 5 to 10 different. I might run it 5 to 10 times, doing different things. But piecing it together
mm-hmm.
until I get kind of what I like, and then I'll save it.
Yeah, and that's really about it, huh? There's really not much more that you need to optimize beyond that.
Yeah.
Justin, I have a question. I have a question for you. Do you ever look at more than one wick entry per reversal, or is it always just one?
Well, I have, but I've noticed that I have a lot more success with one.
So just that, basically one reversal, you're looking for that one pull back and follow through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm running like that profit target 3 is so big, pretty big target. That's a substantial move, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I kind of only run one.
Yeah, makes sense.
I was
just
running like
curious.
scalp. Yeah. If I think I was running like, that's a good question though. So if I was running maybe like a scalp, but I'm not really a scalper. I'm not me. I'm more of a day trader type of personality. But I think like if someone in here is more of a scalper, they probably want to do that. I think, you know what I mean? And they probably want smaller wicks.
Yeah.
That's an idea for them.
Well, and I think it really just matters. Like, we've been talking a lot this week about not trying to force our agenda on the markets, where, the algo is going to work great under certain situations, bar types, and certain markets. And if that's what it's given you, then take the money. It's like, we're not going to say, well, I'm sorry, I didn't want this in $20 bills. I wanted this all in $1 bills. Who cares? It's money. Take it. Right? Like, the market's giving you money. Take it. So.
Yeah, because I was testing something on NQ, and it was just a lot of risk. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like NQ is just, is a beast. I wasn't really. I kind of abandoned that idea. I made some good wins, and then I took a couple losses, and I'm like, I'm going to go to its little brother.
Yep, absolutely. No, this is great. Cool. So what we'll do is, the settings and templates that we have, obviously we're going to be sharing all of them. So Justin has shared his templates, and look for him in the Hybrid Algo Discord threads. He is in there posting here and there. So keep an eye out for any posts that he puts in there, and any of the traders, keep an eye out on the Discord threads and stuff. He's in there. His handle, what's your handle? JW Car or something like that?
Yeah, sorry.
Let's see.
I'm not in Discord right now, and I forget it sometimes. JWK_car.
Yep. So cool. So find him in the thread for the hybrid algo, and feel free to reach out if you have questions. Our community is pretty open here. If you have a question on something, or you're just looking for a quick tip on optimizations, that sort of thing, reach out to him. I'm sure he's open to, obviously he's not going to spend all day sending you an answer, but little quick one-offs in that, feel free to reach out. So it's really cool. Yeah. Thanks so much for sharing. Appreciate that, Justin. Thanks for being with us again.
No problem.
Thanks, Justin.
Not a problem.
Give him a round of applause, everybody, and certainly appreciate it. And don't worry, we're taking good care of him on our end too. So we got him covered. So we've got Sean in the house here with us as well. And
how's everybody doing? How'd everybody enjoy Algo week? Did you guys give me a yes in the chat box that Jim did a good job? He's a trooper, considering he's been sick. You know, so I wanted to come in here and put some cherries on the cake. What we've got here, Jim, maybe if you want to talk about the offer and the giveaway and everything, and then I'm going to throw one extra bone in here for everyone and give everyone a sweetener on top that everybody doesn't know about.
All right.
Going to make it more exciting for everybody.
He's going to put Ashley to more work.
I'm going to put you both to more work, but we're going to save everybody some money. So that'll be good.
I'm looking for the link here. There it is. Okay. That's the one I was looking for. Okay. So let's go over the super special offer, the offer of a lifetime. The opportunity is staring you down in the face saying, please trade me. You just came off of 3 days, 9 hours of education on algo trading with deep dive on optimization, because the algo that you run is as good as the optimization that you're doing. So we spent a lot of time going over that. So here's what you're going to get in this offer. You're going to get the hybrid algo. We covered it. You're going to get the trend stepper algo. We covered it. You're going to get ATR Vault algo. You're going to get the pattern finder algo, and you're going to get HFT algo. You're going to get all of those for $11.25. So the total value is $72.82. Literally. Like if you bought those all separately, that's what you'd pay. Massive discount to get 5 algos for the price of 1. So that is an opportunity to take advantage of this. So let's get you the link. I'm going to paste it in the chat box so you have it.
And I think that if you show them the Algo Week page they put together, we've got everything kind of structured with the recordings on that page. So we'll get you the link and you'll be able to see the recordings. Once today's webinar is finished and rendered, we'll put it up there in the day 3 spot down below. So I know Marco did a good job putting this all together.
Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, you can buy right from this link here too, guys. So you've got everything you need. And Marco's on his game. This looks solid.
Yeah, he's great at graphic design, man. He's awesome. He loves putting. So what I'm going to do here, as an effort to help everybody gain more love from above, we understand that some of you guys maybe have owned another algo, or maybe you've bought one and there might be an overlap. What I'm going to do is I'm going to authorize a coupon for everybody that buys to be able to use it for ARC. So, Jim and Ashley are going to be able to authorize an extra coupon for you guys. So if you guys end up buying for $11.25, we'll give you an extra coupon with ARC so that you can use that for anything in the store. Or you can also use the coupon for NeuroStreet as well. So it'll be an ecosystem-wide coupon. Jim and Ash will be able to give you that if you just send in an email when you buy. Anybody that buys can just email in Jim and he'll give you an extra coupon to be able to use in the store. Because we understand that sometimes people buy an algo, or maybe they've bought an indicator, or they got one and they want the other 4 or whatever. We also know that some of you want stuff in the store, and you guys want stuff across the ecosystem of companies. So anybody that buys the bundle, we're going to throw in an extra coupon. Just email Jim and he'll throw that to you via email, and we'll be able to take care of everybody here equally. So I'm doing that over and above the offer, guys. That's normally wasn't planned. Jim and Ashley didn't know that, but I was sitting here thinking that that there's a lot of people out there that buy from us. I want to make it as best a value for you guys as possible, and hopefully that gets well received. So
cool. That's
kind of just me throwing the owner's love on there for you. And if you guys don't like it, don't buy it. Right? It's that simple.
That's awesome, John.
Yeah. Just trying to pay it forward to everyone. We appreciate your business, and there's a lot going on. So great work, guys. Appreciate all the effort. Yeah,
very good. Yeah, so this is cool. So you got everything centrally located here. As we talked about, we've put together some settings as a result of this week. We've worked together on some settings from scratch. We've got some that we're already ready to go. So I've put everything together for you guys, and what I'm going to do is post those in the Discord today. So I'll post all the settings. What I'm going to do, where you want to go, just so you know where I'm going to post it, and make it simple. So you just go to Arc and go to Algos, and I'm going to paste it here, and I'll put at everyone so that you can find it easily. But I'll paste all the settings right here. Okay, so I'll do that later on today and get everything in there for you. And then, like I say, some of them you're going to want to continue to optimize and do different things with it. If you find something that works and you've done it consistently, share it with the community, please. Pay it forward. We're all in this together. So good stuff. Let's see, what else do we need to cover? I think, we'll open it up to some Q&A. We've got some time to go through some questions. We talked about another idea that we talked about, Sean, is I'm going to put together a spreadsheet that's going to have the different algos and the different things that you might want to look to optimize, just to give some kind of, foundation.
Sheet. Yep. Good cheat sheet, algo testing, and it's always good. Yeah, absolutely. We're getting a couple emails and questions in here saying, if I already own all of one of these, can I sub it in for one of the other algos? Just email in Jim. We'll take care of you guys. If you have any specific questions, or, you want the deal, but you've already bought one, or whatever the case may be, is just email Jim in. Jim will take care of you. We're here to help any way we can. And, we're not,
we'll help you make sense of it. Everybody's situation is a little different,
Exactly. So everybody's kind of coming from a different perspective, what you bought, or that type of stuff. So yeah, we got you covered. Just shoot an email in. We're here to help.
Yeah. Good stuff. I think that's pretty much everything that I had planned to cover. We went through all the algos. We got some settings together. Got a lot of good stuff. If you have questions, go ahead and type those in the chat box, and we'll grab those while we're at it. Yeah, awesome. Sean, thanks for popping in and saying hello. Always good to have you.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here with our team.
Yep, awesome. Good. And thanks to Jeff for being here throughout the whole thing, sitting on the sidelines and just hanging out, being ready to jump into the game when called upon. So that's much appreciated. I'm sure he's working on other stuff in tandem, because we don't give him breaks. We make him work tirelessly.
I can multitask.
Yeah, exactly. I know from experience. We're hard at work here, making sure that we're always putting forth something that's really powerful and productive for our community of traders. So yeah. This offer expires in 5 minutes. It will self-destruct. It's September 17th. Yeah, so you got till September 17th to put some money together. That's going to be, that'll be Sunday. So that gives you plenty of time. Yeah, you got till Sunday. Yeah, for sure. And, like we talked about, if you've, got different scenarios or something and need some help, just reach out to me. We'll figure it out. So ETA, algo updates. I don't think there's anything coming on HFT. I think HFT is good to go. I don't know of any updates needed for that one. As far as the development, there's a balance. So just to give you some extra, insight on behind the scenes, what really happens, right? So we have this balance where we're trying to figure out, what do we work on to develop new indicators and algos, because obviously that's what keeps us in business, selling algos. Releases are always good because they make money for the business, which helps us continue to use that to continue to improve things along the way. So it's a balance of, updating existing stuff, the existing algos, with producing new technology and new algos and stuff. So there's a bit of a balance there. So in terms of ETAs, it's, really our priority is to get it done as quickly as possible. But we only have so many people on staff. So there is a bit of a balance there. So that's the long version to say there's no ETA on that stuff. So like we have updates coming to, some of the other algos where we can implement the structure, which is going to be a great addition. That's a big one. And then the auto disarm, I think that's becoming an option for some of the other algos too, right, Jeff? In that,
right. Any of those things are part of the core engine. So when we do update, it'll have anything that is currently added to the engine already. So
yeah.
But we're planning a another launch probably end of this month, some kind of time frame like that.
End of the month. Yeah.
So we're probably looking at updates, maybe October at the earliest. That's just a guess. No promise, but I mean that's a guess.
Right. Yeah, it just takes time. These guys they've got their hands full. We keep them cooking, so a lot going on. A lot to be done too, because bear in mind, when we update something, we have to test it. And we have to test it extensively in all sorts of different circumstances and markets and bar types and, different combinations of orders together and scenarios together. It takes a long time. We got a lot of guys going in and testing stuff. So just because it's updated doesn't mean we're going to get it out right away too. So that's a factor. So it just takes time. Yep. Pattern Finder. No, it's still on the first version, but I think everything is pretty much up to date on Pattern Finder as far as I know. I don't think there's any updates needed because that's one of the newer ones. We just did that one.
Yeah, it definitely has some of the newer features.
Yeah.
So that probably won't be updated, in the near future, but everything will eventually, it's just how it works when we are able to get to it. But again, like you said, with all the features in these algos, testing is quite time consuming. It takes up a lot of resources to test, and we don't want to release anything if it's not ready. You just don't do that. And so we do have to go through that process before we can confidently release it to you guys.
Yeah.
So
like if we were to pull up one of the settings and show you just how much is on those settings, it is insane how much goes into these settings. And so you think about all that, if you've got 100 different options with endless integers per option, and you're trying to test those against each other. I mean, just think about how much goes into testing this stuff. Yeah. So yeah, we have templates for everything. So if you need templates, just check on Discord or send me a message. I'll get everything out, from this week. We'll get those out to you. But yeah, good deal. I'm just curious to look at this. So this is one of the settings. This is HFT. Keep going and going and going and going. Each one of these things is a parameter testing, different settings, different things, like all of this. Even, I mean, obviously colors aren't a big deal, but this tells the settings everything what to do. So you look at how much goes into testing those. It's quite a bit. These guys they do some good work. So good stuff. Cool deal. Do you guys need anything else? Anything else? Last call? Anything else you need? And this has been a great week. Did you guys enjoy it? Get something out of it? Learn some things?
Great job, Jim. I mean, that was a really great 3-day event. It's very impressive.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was. I wanted to put more into it, guys, but I ran out of gas. The long hours just weren't an option this week for me. And so we kind of went through it together, but at least we got some stuff done, and appreciate you guys hanging out with me while I was barely able to breathe on Monday and barely able to talk yesterday. And today seems to be better. So we're on the work. We're on the way up. Question about this last winter. What goes on a minute? Send me an email, Robert. I'm not sure which software you're looking at or what you're wanting to do, but happy to help out and help you figure it out. So just send me a message. There might be some stuff that you need to update, but it sounds like the team maybe got you some help with that. So that's cool. Yeah, I try, I try to stand by my commitments no matter what the situation, So awesome. Well, great guys. Thanks so much for hanging out and being a part of it. If you need anything else, you've got my email. It's just Jim at nstradingacademy.com. Super easy. And send me a message if you need anything. Otherwise, get in here, buy these algos while they're on sale, while they are at an unbelievable deal. And get them while they're hot. So,
let me just mention one other quick thing.
Yeah.
If you own the algo, if you buy the algo, there is a very comprehensive user manual that comes with each product. We put a lot of time into those. They cover everything. So, there's a lot of questions about what different parameters do and how they work. be sure that if you do purchase an algo and own it, find the user manual. You can download it from the site, and it will answer a lot of your questions about how they work and what those settings mean. So just want to point that out.
Yeah, another thing you could do too, guys, if you go into the site, we've got the AMAs posted here too. So if you're looking at getting some additional training, this is more specific to this algo, obviously, whereas this week has been more about testing and parameters and optimizations. This is going to tell you more about the algo as well. And then obviously once you purchase the algo, you get the detailed user manual as well, which is super helpful. Jeff is the one that puts together these manuals, and God help him, better him than me. He does a killer job with the manuals. I could never do it. Certain people have their strengths, right? And so he does a fantastic job with those. So yeah, those are a great resource as well. Yeah.
My pleasure. It does take a while to put those together.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, a lot of late nights.
We try to make them very comprehensive so that, if nothing else, you have a reference manual on how to use the tool. That's that's our aim. So like for instance, I think the HFT user manual is 63 pages long. And it's not because it's just really overly wordy. It's just covering everything. There's so much in there.
Yeah.
So, it's a very comprehensive source for you. So be sure to get that.
Yeah, that's why we spent like 2 hours on it today. I knew that we wouldn't be able to cover more than one thing today. So yeah, a lot to it. A lot of different options. So cool. Well, traders, thanks so much for being here and hanging out. For those of you in the GAP program, we'll see you in the morning. We'll be back at it trading and get some trades. Looks like we tried one today that got a break even for me, and we'll see what else is out there. So keep an eye out for other trades. But if you need anything, our team's here to help you. If you need help with installs, you need help with getting things set up, we've got a support team that can help you do that as well. So don't be shy. If you need help and you're hitting a wall or can't figure it out, if you get 5-10 minutes into something and can't figure it out, reach out to the team. We can do it in no time at all. So don't waste time trying to get stuff up and running. If you need help, don't be afraid to ask. So cool. Excellent. Well, thanks, traders. Enjoy the rest of the week, and we'll catch you next time. Take care. Cheers, everybody.